This is Art Fleming, the man you see hosting Jeopardy on our NBC Channel 5 Monday through Friday, and it's our first time to meet, Art, and I'm really delighted
And
to
what
see
a thrill and what beautiful surroundings in which to meet. Is this the way you work down in Texas way?
I hope not often. We've done about 35 or 40 interviews, Art, in 2 days, and we're all getting a little punchy at this stage.
I know exactly how you feel, and it is hard work. People think it's a glamorous profession, but actually it's hard work.
Well, you know what's hard for me? It's not, I can work 10 hours straight and interview one right after the other and just love it. But it's, if you have 20-minute delays in between, that's all
I know. That's why with Jeopardy, for instance, we pre-tape our shows, and we do 3 on Thursday and 3 on Friday. Those 2 days you really work hard. But the rest of the time you're off, and it's all worthwhile. I'm not a type of a man who can punch a card and work 9 to 5 every day, I'd like to work my 24 hours a day if it means 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, and then when it's finished, it's finished.
Art, there are so many game shows, and they seem like pretty good ideas, and they come and they stay a little while, and then they're off. But Jeopardy is in how many,
Well, we're in our 8th year
Eighth
now.
year.
We've just completed, as of last week, 1,925 shows. And it's an amazing, the whole aura of Jeopardy is an amazing thing to me. I've been in this business since I'm 4 years old. I come from a long line of show people. And, people would see you on television or in motion pictures, and they say, gee, Art, I saw you last night. It was a good performance, and leave it at that. But with Jeopardy, they get so carried away. They say, why did Mrs. Jones from Iowa wager $300 on American history when it was obvious she didn't know? And they get so worked up about this thing. And, I don't remember the show because it's pre-taped weeks and weeks ahead of time. I don't remember the history answer, the Mrs. Jones or anything. But they're vehement about this thing, and it's really heartwarming to see that people care enough to write us, to visit with us, and just to generally have a good feeling about our show.
Well, this must be then part of the secret of its success, isn't it? That the people at home become so
Get
terribly
really
involved.
carried away. We get on the average of 4,000 letters a week, and I would say about 100, 125 letters are from blind people. They say, we don't have to see Jeopardy, we'll just hear it. And, society has written us off, but we feel that the only way to really keep our minds active is by education and knowledge, and we get it from Jeopardy.
Do you ever, or have you ever, Art, you tape, I know, from the top, but have you ever had to just stop and start over?
We only did that
happened?
once. We have very little editing time. Sometimes a contestant will be carried away by an answer that they knew and didn't come out with it, and they'll use an obscenity or a 4-letter word, so that is blooped. But as far as editing the tape, we go from beginning to end. That's it. There's no changes. Whatever happens, happens. And of course, we are very closely scrutinized by the Bureau of Standards and Practices, so that there's no hanky-panky, there's nothing illegal, nobody's told anything beforehand. It happens right there. It's a now show,
Do you have anything whatever to do with interviewing the people?
No.
You never meet them
It
ahead
takes
of time?
approximately 65 people to put this show on.
Goodness.
I see the contestants the day of taping about an hour and a half before the actual show. We run them through a rehearsal game with old answers and questions that have been on the air, and just to acclimate them to the studio, to the cameras, to the lights, and to the hubbub of television in general, as you know, Bobbie. And I don't see them again until airtime. And then I see them as I walk out. When Don Pardo introduces me, I see them for the first time. So the contestants are not in the same order. I may have we bring in maybe 12 contestants each day, and I might see 1, 2, and 3 in the rehearsal game, and then 4, 5, and 6 in the second game, and so on. But when we get on the air, it might be 2, 7, and 9 that play against each other, so I never know.
What do they look for, though, in a good game player?
Well, actually, it's a game show. It's an entertaining type of a thing, and at the same time, it's educational. We don't want somebody who's a college professor with all the knowledge and no personality. Conversely, we don't want somebody who's all personality and ho and no knowledge. We try to hit a medium ground, and it's amazing the knowledge that the housewife and the man or the retired person has. One of our biggest money winners is a woman who had 2 years of high school, and she and her wife bought an old, dilapidated house in New Jersey, and she wanted to redo her kitchen. That's all. That was her reason. And she came on the show and was brilliant and won over $5,000, and she redid her kitchen.
Is that the biggest money winner?
No, the largest money winner we've ever had in one day was $3,280. That's one day.
Wow.
In 5 appearances, $11,180.
Mm.
And it was won by a radar man on a submarine. And he said life was fairly dull and dreary on a sub, and he says I used to read a lot, and I used to just lie in my bunk and contemplate the knowledge I used to have, you know. And it is amazing when you get on the game, the way your mind releases bits of information, odds and ends that you've stored away that you never thought you'd need again.
Now, that's what amazes me, is that under pressure and people that aren't used to television can just come up so fast with these answers.
And we have people from all walks of life with all types of schooling watch our show. We had several presidents watch part of the show that we know of. We can't, of course, advertise that. And yet at the other end of the scale, we've had people with very little education, and I've asked them, why do you like Jeopardy? And they chuckle and they say, because there are other people as ignorant as we are. Not stupid, ignorant in lack of schooling, that's all.
Yeah.
But it's amazing the walks of life that Jeopardy touches.
Yes. Now, you mentioned that you tape 2 days a week. So
Right.
what do you do the other time?
Well, I head up a company also called Peg Art Productions. We do a lot of documentary and film work for particularly Guideposts magazine, for one.
Yes.
And we do a lot of filming for good non-denominational, non-religious causes, because I think there's more to life than just working and being before the public. I think you're given much and you should give much in return.
Mm-hmm.
So I get involved with film companies doing that kind of work. And then I travel a good bit. Texas, for me, is one of my favorite of all states.
What about...
I was invited down by a station in Austin several months ago, and your governor, Preston Smith, made me an honorary Texan, and I've been back ever since. I've been back to San Antonio for the Alamo Festival, the large festival they have every year, and I try to spend a good deal of time in Texas. It's a lovely state, and it covers such a great expanse, not only of land, but cultures, and it's a thrill for me.
Art, one thing that I have heard about that I wanted to ask you, some sort of a telephone ministry, or what is that?
I'm a deacon at Marble Collegiate Church in New York, which is the oldest Protestant church in existence with a continuous ministry, founded in 1628. And it's headed by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, the author of The Power of Positive Thinking. Well, over the years, we've come to the conclusion that the churches were not doing much as far as really helping the people. They were waiting with their doors open for the congregations to flock in, instead of going out and having a mission with the people. So we instituted a telephone ministry called Helpline, which is a telephone calling system where you can call a trained person 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with any problem you might have, and you'll get a crisis type of referral. We get on the average of 35 suicides a week. Now, depending on what type of person it is, what kind of problem he has, these trained interviewers will siphon this person off to a help organization, whether it's mental health, whether it's Alcoholics Anonymous, whether it's some drug problem, whatever. And we instituted this mission in February of 1970, figuring that by February of 1971, we will have received about 12,000 calls, 1,000 a month.
That's a wonderful service.
Instead, we got 92,000. So that gives you an idea of the service.
All right, we're about out of film.
I'm sorry.
Thank
Okay.
you so much for
Thank
talking
you so
with
much,
us.
Bobbie. I do appreciate it, and thank you all for watching our show. Bye now.